Hello everyone, welcome back to the Wisconsin Greg Show. Today I'm going to try to keep this video as short as possible because actually it's not going to be a very exciting one, but hopefully informative, and that's what I'm sure you're here looking for. Today I'm going to show you how I'm going to defrost my freezer in a real quick manner. That's something you want to do, especially if you're living in warm areas, because you want to hurry up and get it defrosted fast and without doing any damage, and get your food back in there quick before it thaws out. Today I don't really have to hurry too much because what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my food in cardboard boxes. You could use coolers or whatever you have handy, or plastic totes. I'm using cardboard boxes today, and I got a deck right outside here, and it's I can't remember, it's probably around 0 degrees today, and I'm not going to have to worry about it thawing out, but I'm just going to show you how you would do it if you ain't got the time, you want to hurry up, or if it's warmer outside. So I'll get started right away with it, but first I'm going to show you the inside of the freezer. Some freezers you don't have to do this with because they're defrostless freezers. They do it themselves the way they're designed. When I bought this one, I wanted a defrostless freezer, but at the time I couldn't find a small freezer because I didn't want a great big one that was frost free. So I had to buy one that I had to defrost, and I probably should have just went and bought a bigger freezer, and then I wouldn't have to worry about it. But if you got a defrost freezer that needs to be defrosted, we're going to show you how to do it today. So first I'm going to bring you in here real close and show you inside here how they frost up. And when they frost up, they make it real, it makes it work extra hard. So what it does is it costs you extra electrical bills because they're working harder than they need to. So it's best to keep the frost out of them. I find out that I need to do it about once a year. It's going to probably vary with everybody's climate and the type of freezer you have, how they're designed. But you can tell whenever they get all frosted up inside, it's time to do it. It makes it, getting the food out is hard when they get all frosted up, and it also makes them work harder. So I'm going to bring you in real close here and show you how they frost up and what it looks like and when it's time to do it. So on my freezer, the top one usually gets the very worst, and you can see here, right up here, all the ice that builds up, and that shouldn't be there at all. There should be nothing. As you go down, it gets less and less. See, the bottom ones have hardly anything on it, so we got to get that frost off of there, the ice. So I'm gonna get all this stuff out of here. I'm gonna get my coat and hat on, and I ain't gonna show you this and waste your time of me taking and unloading this. And then when I get it all cleaned out, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I got everything in boxes and sitting out on my deck, and it's freezing out there, so I don't have to worry about that. The next thing you want to do is unplug it. Just a safety issue. So just want to make sure you got your thing unplugged, your freezer unplugged. Okay, and then I'm going to go get a couple towels and a little pan and set it on the bottom here. And you can see it's already starting to melt a little bit. But we'll speed that process up, and I'll show you how I'm going to do that. But I'm going to get some towels and a little bit of a pan to set on the bottom to catch some of that, and then I'll be right back. Now I put a couple pans on the bottom and a couple of towels. You don't really need the pans, but it makes things a little bit easier. It catches most of the heavier water that'll drip down there, and then towels should catch the rest of it. And then I'll show you how I'm going to speed things up here. What I'm going to be using is this right over here. It's a Mr. Heater portable buddy heater, and I'm going to have it on this little step stool, and it's going to blow heat in there, and it's going to melt it real quick. So I'll get that thing going here. Get her lit up. It takes a few minutes to warm up. But it really puts the heat out. If you don't have one of these, you could use a little portable heater, or even just a fan blowing towards you, blowing some heat from your house in towards the freezer. It just speeds things up. If you don't have that stuff to do it, you can just let it melt naturally, but you'll have to keep your food from thawing out. Keep it in like coolers or keep it in boxes, but wrap it up with lots and lots of blankets or something to keep it from thawing out. So we'll get this thing warmed up and we'll put this right in front of the freezer and it'll start dripping, and then in the meantime I'm going to go do my dishes and then I'll come back here and clean up the mess. But let me get this in front of here and I'll show you how it's working. This is a special warning when you're using like a LP heater inside your house, which ain't recommended. Always make sure that you open a window or crack a door open so you can get oxygen in there. Otherwise you might be setting off your carbon monoxide detectors, and it can also cause some health problems like headaches, and can even cause death if you had it going too long. So always make sure you crack a window open so this thing can get some air. That's very important if you're using this in the house. Otherwise, if you're scared of that, I'd recommend using an electric heater. Okay, I got the heater set up in front of the freezer here. As you can see, it's really glowing. It's really red hot. It's pumping out the heat. This doesn't have a fan on it, but it really disperses the heat real well. If you had one with a fan, that might be a little better, I'm not sure. But this works. I've used this before and it works very well. Periodically come over here and check the pans and make sure they're not overflowing. Dump them in your sink or outside. And most important, a lot of people want to use like a scraper to scrape this ice off they rush it along. That's a big no-no. You don't want to do that. That can damage your freezer. I would not recommend that at all. If it doesn't just come apart real easy with your fingers, just leave it alone and let it melt. So just wanted to show you that. And another thing to be cautious when you're using a heater like this, if it's so close, check on the sides here and feel it. Make sure it's not getting too hot. Keep an eye on it. Don't want you to catch your house on fire. Be very careful. Just keep an eye. Don't walk away from it, and monitor it. Monitor it very well, and make sure that nothing's getting too hot. If it's getting too hot, just pull it back a little bit. So I'll let this melt a little bit, and we'll check back. Check the time. It's about 5 minutes to 12 right now, so we'll see how long this is going to take. Okay, it's been about an hour now, and it's still got a little ways, quite a bit of a ways to go yet, and it's not going as fast as I'd like it to go. So old Wisconsin Greg is always thinking about something. So he decided, he remembered, I got this heat gun, and I'm going to use that to help it along a little bit. Another thing I did here is I put this box over the top here so the heat can come up and kind of goes in instead of going right up to the ceiling. Catches more of the heat. So we want to speed this up a little faster because I don't like waiting. And I know if you're like down south and your food was in things, you're going to have to hurry up and get this done. So we want to hurry up and get this done. So I'm going to use this heater on high, but going to keep moving it around. And don't get it under the water. You don't want to, I don't want nobody getting electrocuted, but just keep it on the outside here and just keep it around. And it'll blow the heat right in there and it'll speed things along. Now I measured this, I must have forgot to do it last year, I don't remember. So I think it's a lot worse than it normally is. So you'd be better off if you make sure you do this every year. I measured how thick it was on the top, on the very back of this top shelf, and it was 2 3/4 of an inch thick. And that's why it's taking so long on this top shelf. That's a lot of ice to melt. But this should speed things along. So I'll be back with you when it's done. I also still kept my propane heater on. I just wanted to remind you of that. I didn't shut that off. It's still going too. So we got the heat pumping in here with the heat gun and the propane heater. Okay, I'm back. This little thing here speeded things up way a lot quicker. I could have probably been done a half hour quicker. It took me about an hour and 40 minutes to get it totally done. So now all I got to do is wring out my towels, empty my pans out, and then I'm going to take some a little bit of warm water with a little bit of dishwashing soap and just wipe the inside out. And that's a good time to inspect your seal and make sure your seal on your doors and everything are all good. And then I'm going to let it, but in that meantime it'll be settled out from the heat, and then I'm going to start it back up again. Oh, you got to make sure you remember to plug it back in. And then I'll check back on it periodically through the evening and make sure the temperature is where it's supposed to be. I'm not sure if you can see this. I didn't get this on the camera very well. I'll stand behind here and show you. It should be in the blue zone, the solid blue zone on the left hand side. So anywhere from 0 down to minus 20 degrees Fahrenheit. That's where they recommend. So just wanted to show you that. Hopefully this will show up so you can see it. I'm not sure what that converts to in Celsius for all my people in other countries that use Celsius, but you can figure that out. It's not too hard. Go right online, there's converters, you can figure that out. I'm going to have to do a review on this heat gun because I really like it. It's a Wagner model, basic model 236-3334. So I've used this thing in some of my other videos, and it's really a handy thing to have. If you guys are into the hobby stuff and maintenance and building things, you might want to go out and get one of these things. I'll do a review on this later, some other day, but just wanted to show you what I used. And so I'm going to get this finished up so I can get my food back in the freezer because it's starting to snow a little bit outside. And that's it. Have a wonderful day, everybody, and thanks for stopping by.